much money do you need to feel wealthy? Not necessarily be wealthy, but at least feel wealthy. And what does feeling wealthy even mean? We're going to explore those questions today with some awesome data. Yeah. You can choose whether you want to trust that data or not. That's coming to you from a recent study that was published by, you'll find out.
We don't want to well, we are promoting it. Well, not really promoting
it. We're using it as a way to start a discussion. Whether it's right or wrong, you can be the judge.
Hey, and welcome to Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast. We believe when conventional financial thinking doesn't get you where you want to go, you need wealth wisdom. So don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like and comment below. Now, if you notice, we have this new big screen.
For people watching on YouTube.
We are changing locations. And there's all kinds of things that we're trying to figure out. Like we also run a business. So, we got to do that stuff. And we have this lovely YouTube podcast that we want to educate and help and bring video and other things to you guys. So we have this screen, but there's always challenges with lighting and all that. So if you're going to write a comment, we already
be nice. We're figuring it out. Yeah.
So thanks for being here, though. This is going to be a lot of fun. And this is a question that we ask in all of our financial analysis when we talk to clients. What does retirement mean for you? Kind of.
That's a little different than what does it mean to feel wealthy or to be wealthy. I was actually at a gathering of financial professionals recently, and one of the individuals there worked for a company. They weren't a financial professional, and they asked the question to the group, how much money do I need to retire? Like, how much do I need in my 401k? And it was a really great conversation, as you can imagine, the various opinions that came up. And we're going to get into that too. So not only what does it take to feel wealthy, but also how much might you need in order to retire? If you're thinking about that, whether it be 5 years from now or 50 years from now, let's think, we're going to dig into that too.
Whether you're 35 or 65.
Right. It's an important question to ask. So what we're going to start with is sharing some of what's inspired this episode. One of the study that was done that has some pros and cons to it that we're going to use to frame this. And then we're going to do some rehashing of that after. So if you are listening on the podcast, we're going to put a summary of this study. We're going to put that PDF in the show notes so you can follow along, or click over to the YouTube version of this and watch our screen and what we circle and, all those kind of things as we go. And if you're on YouTube, thanks so much for being here. Sit back, enjoy, but if you want to look more in depth into the study, we'll have that summary below too.
And Amanda, you'll try and say what's on the summary too.
For sure. So. Here we go. So here it is, the Charles Schwab Modern Wealth Survey 2023. We're going to go through it pretty quickly, but you can, again, see the link in the show notes to find it. So good researchers, they go through their methodology. They surveyed 1,000 adults, and they were between the ages of 21 and 75. And this is how they broke down their generations. Okay. And only 200 were Gen Z.
200 additional.
Yeah, that's what it says. Okay. So can you click the down page 3? So Americans say you need 2.2 million to be wealthy. And apparently 48% of these folks felt wealthy. Very different. Feel wealthy versus be wealthy. Mm-hmm. And the ones who feel wealthy, they had an average net worth of $560,000. That's less than half of 2.2 million. That's less than 25% of 2.2 million, I think, somewhere around there. And yet they feel wealthy, even if they don't have the amount you need to be wealthy in their eyes. Next page. That same thing. Now, and you'll notice that millennials were more likely to feel wealthy, and they had the second highest net worth after the boomers. And less boomers felt wealthy, even though they had more wealth.
Why is that?
Well, let's keep going. So when describing wealth in their own words, more Americans were referenced well-being over money and assets.
So
That they
40
felt wealthy because they had good well-being.
So that's 1,200 people saying 40% said well-being was above money
And assets.
and assets.
Yep. And then, of course, you have necessities, freedom, achievements, and goals, luxury items, and the ability to give coming in
9%.
last place, only
Yeah,
9%.
Wow.
And then the next page has which non-financial assets help describe wealth to them. And you can see the one that had the highest percentage was having a fulfilling personal life, what they did outside of work, their relationships, their hobbies, their activities, compared with working in their career.
I would say, like, also thinking about this when I ask about what does retirement mean for you, this is the top question that people are asking, is like how having a fulfilling personal life is why I want to retire, why I want to do that thing and leave my job.
Yeah. But remember, more millennials felt wealthy than older retirees or close to retirement. And maybe it's because they don't define themselves by their career and they keep a fulfilling personal life earlier than retirement.
Yeah, because then that's 28 to 7. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it's shifting.
Not having stress over my money. This is one of my big beliefs. I believe people can have more financial freedom. They can feel wealthy today if they're able to calm some of that stress over their money. And this agrees, right? And then right after that, enjoying experiences. Having good experiences helps them feel wealthy. Not a financial asset, takes some money though, probably to do some of those experiences, but there's also all kinds of free experiences that we can have. If we want to feel wealthy tomorrow, go have an experience, go walk in nature, do something. And then having that healthy work-life balance. We'll stop there. You can read the full list.
Yeah.
Those are the top 4.
It's interesting.
And so what it came down to was not necessarily how they spent their money or how they accumulated their money, but more about having time freedom. And again, you can see it's actually a little different this time. Boomers were more likely to say that time freedom was more important than having assets.
Oh, that's again interesting, thinking about that from reverse engineering, talking about retirement. Most of the time, pun intended, is people wanting more time to do things with their family, with going on trips or whatever. Time is more important than how much money they have in their accounts.
Yeah. The next page is my favorite page. So this one says that about a third of the people in the study have determined financial goals and documented them in a formal plan, a little over a third. And of those people, 92% feel they'll reach their financial goals. That is an amazing confidence factor, that if you have written goals in a documented plan, you're going to feel way more confident about your financial future. Whereas those with no formal financial plan, only 40% have thought a little bit about it, and 26% don't have any kind of financial plan. And when asked on the next slide, why those without a financial plan didn't have a financial plan or documented goals, here's what they believe. This really ticks me off. They don't think they have enough money to need a financial plan.
Yeah.
That is, wow, if you believe that, if you know someone that believes that, I'm here to tell you, everyone should have a financial plan. Even if you're on public assistance or making minimum wage, you need a financial plan, period.
Even if it's an Excel sheet or
something. Or even just the idea of setting goals and putting them written down goes a huge way toward building financial confidence at any income or asset level.
And I think that's why you decided to write that book that's coming out eventually. Right?
Yeah. Well,
we'll get there. You'll hear about that book. Plug for the book that's coming. It is an amazing resource that anybody can use.
Yeah. Then, following that, too complicated, not enough time, haven't had a major life event that means you needed a plan, and too expensive. These people are working with the wrong financial planners if they think it's too expensive. Talk to us if you want to learn what our pricing is and how it works. Okay, I got a couple of pages left here.
On this is Charles Schwab doing a question to probably people that came into their sphere, maybe. I don't know.
No, it was some research firm that did it for them, I think.
Oh, okay. Good. That's better.
Yeah. So Americans value their relationships with friends and family, but they compare to friends and family. How they compare impacts how they feel. So that means they value family, but if they can afford to have a similar lifestyle to their friends, then that makes them feel more wealthy. And that effect, you see the younger people, it's still about the peer pressure, right? And then I compare my lifestyle to my friends and family's lifestyle on social media. Again, you can see young folks, me, I'm still young. I fit in this category. That's us, right? Like, it's part of why we're leaving social media, is because we don't want to keep comparing ourselves and seeing our confidence go down.
Yeah, I think that's huge and sad.
Now, you ready for this next slide?
I hope it's not as sad.
How do people learn about finances? Where do they go for financial advice? Look at this. Social media. So like all these questions are about social media. And you'll notice, I follow influencers, my views on wealth are influenced, I make purchases based, my investment decisions, all these things. Look at how these numbers compare to these numbers. The Gen Z and the Millenials very much more are influenced by social media for how they feel about money, but also what they do with their money, what they buy, where they invest, all those kind of things, much more so than Gen X and boomers. That's why we're on YouTube. That's why we make podcasts. It's why we're on the socials, because we want that positive influence out there. And if you missed our last episode where we talked about like bringing hope and inspiration, that's exactly why we're there.
Yeah. And I would say, like, for us, you specifically, you would not be on social media or any of this if it
I have all my notifications turned off. I don't actually open social media ever, but we have a staff person that publishes there because we know how important that is.
Yeah. And why we want to grow this channel, grow our podcasts and all that is because we want to have positive influence for you and for all of the people that come in contact with us. So share this video. If you love
Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or X or LinkedIn, we're there. Go find us, follow us, bring some positivity into your social media feed, and then share it with those millennials and Gen Z that you want to bring that hope and inspiration to as well.
Cool.
Didn't plan on saying that, but very good. Okay, the last 2 pages are just some snapshots of disclosures. So we're going to go back to now sharing a little bit about our feelings on this report. Okay, here we are. We're back. How you feeling? You feeling wealthier now? Are you feeling like more understood? Like there are people in America that are like you? Are you feeling like, oh, I'm way better than most people in America? Or maybe you're feeling like, oh, there are some people in my age demographic that have it better together than I do. However you're feeling, whatever that made for you, here's the 2 big takeaways. Okay, ready? Number 1, for most people, wealth goes beyond simple dollars and cents. It was more about feeling and time freedom and experiences and all those kinds of things. If you want to learn more about how we define wealth, you can go back and check out episode 116, which is from September 23rd, 2022. The title is Build Wealth Part 2. It's not only about money. And in there, we talk more about the various forms of wealth and how we can build wealth in all areas of our lives, not just with money.
Yeah, I do think like some of that as we work with countless clients, trying to figure out a strategy and plan, money is important, right? In order to do certain things, it is important. We need to maybe have income, have a job, or have real estate that goes well, right? But most of it, the reason that people do things is because they want to have that time freedom to do what they want, when they want, to be able to go on these trips, if that's what it is, or
spend time with loved ones,
build a house.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah. So true financial wealth, it seems, is less important than other types of wealth, like family, community, connections, experiences, all those things. Perhaps that's good news. So I'm taking that good news, putting it in my little good news bank for the day. Second thing, there is a super big importance to knowing what you're going after.
Yeah.
Having written goals and having a formal plan to go after those goals. That is super important, super critical, something that, yes, maybe it might help you actually have more so that you can feel confident with that more, but maybe more importantly, it gives you confidence. It helps you feel wealthier all along the journey as you're building and executing that plan and going after your dreams. I see that time and time again. Those that written summary of their financial goals and concerns are like, okay, now I know the direction I'm going. I'm ready to go after it. And they have that confidence boost.
And again, that's not why we are not plugging the book yet. The book is not even out yet.
Well, I'm plugging our process.
Yeah.
So what we do, if you've never been through our process, what we do is we get to know each person. We go through at least an hour conversation with them to get to know their goals, hopes, dreams, and so forth. And every single person then at the next meeting gets at most 5 bullet point summary of their goals and a 5 bullet point summary of their financial concerns. And that's something we hung on to for a long time, and we changed and edited, and we still come back, and every year we say, okay, what are our top financial goals? And we list out 5, no more than 5 bullet points. And that kind of focus and clarity goes a long way to how feeling wealthy as we're building financial wealth.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of like taking that one step. We kind of know where we're going. I just did an interview with a friend on that, is stepping one foot in front of the other. And if we have a financial plan or strategy or something that we can move towards, and we take that one step, and then we got there, and then we're like, oh, now let's do 5 other things, because we've accomplished those things that make us feel wealthy, whatever that is, in that year.
Yeah. So if you want an ally along your journey to at least help you get clear on your goals, write them down, and create a formal strategy to go after those goals, we would be honored if you'd consider going to our website, wealthwisdomfp.com/call. Schedule a 15-minute call with us. We're not going to do all the things in that 15-minute call. We're simply going to answer your initial questions, talk a little bit more about our process that we go through, and then take the next steps from there. No obligation, no high pressure, anything like that, just to see if we're a good fit. Again, that website is www.wealthwisdomfp.com/call. And then I know a lot of the people that listen to our show, thank you for being here, are people that have gone through that process before. And you probably, hopefully, still have that 1-page summary of your goals and concerns. If you haven't talked to us recently to update that, to talk about how it's going to go after those, we want to talk to you. You can use that same link to schedule a call with us. And if anything, just pulling it out, looking at it might give you a boost to help you feel wealthier today than you did yesterday or even 10 minutes ago.
Awesome. Well, that was good. I think we are all getting wealthier by the minute, just as we learn. And again, what does wealth mean to you? Only you can answer that. And again, as we talk to people, that's some of the biggest questions that we ask. So
thank you so much for joining us. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. I think we'll get more into how much do you need to retire in the next episode. So if you're waiting for us to dig in and maybe share some numbers around that,
we might have numbers. We do have this thing.
We got this awesome thing to draw on. Yep. So there you go. Hit that subscribe button and then live long and profit. The topics presented in this podcast are for general information only and not for the purposes of providing legal, accounting, or investment advice. On such matters, please consult a professional who knows your specific situation.